type of speech. So there is no evaluation. It's not a manual speech, a regular manual speech. And he's going to talk for 7 minutes. So the timing will be 5, 6, 7, and then he will have 1 minute for some tips and education and another minute.
So, yeah, I mean, it will be a speech that given at an earlier time, a prepared speech, but at the end it will be a 1 minute educational tip sort of around that particular speech.
Okay, so it's, the speech is a 5 to 7 minute speech plus 1 minute talking about the speech. Jonathan Siegel, he joined us a few years ago. He's a psychologist by profession. His hobbies are skiing, swimming, tennis, public speaking, motorcycling, even performing. You did performing in the past in few shows. And tonight he's going to do a speech and by the name Shadows. Jonathan Siegel.
Shadows. Moving shadows. Has there ever been a time in your life that you were really unhappy? Has there ever been a time in your life when you felt you lost your true sense of purpose? Have you ever found a time in your life where you were chasing shadows? Mr. Toastmaster, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. Tonight, we're going to learn a little bit about shadows. I have a dog. He's 4 years old. He's a small black Karen Terrier. His name is Leo. And he loves chasing shadows. Every night, Leo anxiously waits outside the bathroom. And when I open the door, the light from inside the room casts a shadow of the moving door onto the floor. Leo scrambles back and forth in a desperate attempt to chase the shadow, like a predator in search of his prey. I call out to Leo and I say, Leo, you can't chase the shadow. Look, the light's coming from inside the room. He just keeps his head down and ignores me. I can't figure out why he can't get this. It's so simple. And I think deep inside, the reason I'm trying to have him get it is because I really want to see the look on his face when he does. I talk to him with proper phrasing, pacing, pausing. No go. My wife says to me, well, why don't you talk to him the way you talk to me? So I bark.
Very nice.
Nothing seems to work. But Leo's persistence in chasing shadows reminds me of my own dogged determination at a time in my life when I was chasing shadows and couldn't see the light. A number of years ago, I was working with a client. It was a very difficult situation. At the heart of the matter were issues of integrity. I felt I was being asked to compromise my sense of what was right and wrong. At the heart of the matter, I realized that as long as I stayed with this client, and I knew this not just in my head, I knew this in my heart, my soul, in my bones. I knew that as long as I stayed with this particular client, and this client was helping me pay my bills, my mortgage, but I knew that as long as I stayed with this client, the hole in my soul was going to get bigger and bigger. At this time in my life, I was drinking more alcohol than I should have, although I didn't realize it at the time. I was living in the shadows. I couldn't see the light. One morning I woke up, went downstairs to the breakfast table, and I was restless irritable discontent. And my younger son, who was about 5 or 6 at the time, I'm not really sure. I remember he was eating Reese Puffs. And he said to me, "Daddy, I had a dream last night." And I asked him, "Well, what was the dream?" But I wasn't really interested in hearing the answer. I was too focused on my own worries. He said, "There was a man who was in the dark for 50 years. I asked Adam, "Well, was the man blind?" He said, "No. The man was in a dark hut. And it was pitch black, and he couldn't see. And one day he reached up and he pulled down the leaves, and then the light came down." And at this particular point, I started getting really nervous. I was anxious. I said, "Well, why did it take the man so long to find the light?" And in a very innocent, matter-of-fact manner, Adam looked at me and he said, "Daddy, the man wasn't looking." That was a moment. For me, that was a moment of grace. In that moment, something shifted, something changed, something was no longer the same. I was no longer in the shadow. I could see a ray of light. I ended up leaving that particular client, and although it wasn't easy, everything in the end turned out to be okay. And perhaps most importantly, today, I don't have that hole in my soul. But some things changed, some things stayed the same. Leo, he continues to chase his shadow, or chases shadows. But if you ever find that you're focused more on the problem than the solution, if you ever find that you're barking up the wrong tree, if you ever find that you're chasing or climbing the wrong ladder of success, please remember what I think you already know, that you don't have to chase the shadows, because there's light above you, there's light around you, and there's light inside of you. Madam Toastmaster. I do know that I have 1 minute, and I'd like to give a tip for this that I use as part of creating this speech, and hopefully it will be valuable to you, and you can make your own decision in this regard. And the way to remember the tip is use the acronym TIP for tip. And the tip I want to make in this case is about the pause. And there was one point when I paused at length, when I shared what Adam said and the look on his face, which was innocent, straightforward. And I paused at length to show his look, and then long enough to try and express what his look was versus my look. And the tip centers around, for T, for timing. It's very important to, when developing the pause, to have that proper sense of timing. The I stands for interest. The particular point of time that you introduce a pause, I think, should be a point in the story where it's at a real high point of interest. And the P stands for purpose. When using the pause, use it wisely, judiciously, and have a clear sense of purpose in using it, allowing everyone time to digest and absorb the impact of that particular moment. Madam Toastmaster.